Steve Teague of Teague Enterprises, and what you're looking at here is the overseas model of the smoking machine. The components of this system are the hood on top with the smoking machine in there with two mouse chambers. So the parts of the smoking machine are the chimney where the smoke is collected, mixing and dilution chamber, and the magazine load for loading cigarettes in there. You can put up to 2 packs of cigarettes in here, and the loading mechanism. This is the TE10 unit. The part starts out on the power supply over here. Power supply is either 110 or 220. This is a switch that turns it off and on. And then the air supply. Compressed air is needed to operate the smoking machine. It is not included with this unit. Here's an example of a compressor that can be used. The air supply will have to be regulated down to 20 psi. Alright, this is the pressure gauge on the top of the machine that monitors the compressed air that comes in there. It should be operated around 20 psi. This pressure gauge is for the operation of the cylinders in the machine. After the unit here for the power and the air is the module that holds the electronics that operate the machine. These are the little valves we'll go over later on to do the operation of the machine, and a little LED display that tells you what's going on in the program. This is the ashtray, which is filled partially with water to collect the butts as they're burned out and that fall into the ashtray to extinguish them. So then this is the chamber that holds the air, called the chimney area. So the chimney area collects the smoke, and then the smoke is collected in the top part of the chimney and then evacuated out into the chambers. It's the holder for the cigarettes, the cigarette wheel. Okay, this is a picture of the nichrome lighter filament. This is the back part of the lighter wire. The lighter wire goes down through here and into the electronics part down here. So this is what feeds into the lighter operation. As the machine starts up, the wheel starts turning around, and in order to know where it starts out, there's a little switch down here that's a reed switch that detects a magnetic sensor. The magnet is in the wheel right here, and as the wheel turns around, it trips the switch, which then sends a signal back into the electronics to know where the zero position of the switch is. This is the magazine load cylinder. This is the eject cylinder. This is the motor that operates the cigarette wheel. This is the puff port on the 12 o'clock position. Puff port then goes down into the puff pump. Puff pump is right here, takes a puff, and then the smoke goes back into and adds with the side stream smoke, so the mixed smoke then comes out through here and into the mixing and dilution chamber. Okay, this is the smoking machine, the TE10, and the smoke then comes from the hood part through this hood duct into the mixing and dilution chamber. Okay, what we're looking at now is the back of the hood. This is the exhaust from the hood itself. Down and into the blower. Then the blower, the exhaust goes out to the exhaust of the system. This is the exhaust from the mixing and dilution chamber. The smoke then comes down into the mouse chambers. As it goes in, it's monitored by an orifice meter. The orifice meter has a pressure drop according to the flow that goes through there, that's monitored by this magnehelic gauge here. Alright, so the smoke then comes in on the left hand side here through these two tubes and distributed through the volume of the machine, the chamber, and then over to the right hand side here where it's exhausted. The center part there is the rack to hold the cages, so mice can go on the top and the bottom there. So the smoke then comes through from one side, goes to the other side, and then it's exhausted out through here. The exhaust flow is controlled by the valves here, and the valves then, the exhaust goes out on either one and into the pump. The pump then pulls out the smoke through this blower and then out into the exhaust system. Okay, push the rocker switch. Immediately put your hand on the next switch, and when the wheel stops turning, then push the next switch. If you don't push the next switch immediately, then you can't change anything from the factory settings. The next button cycles through all the options. The options are, number one is the number of cigarettes. The number of cigarettes is shown as 3 here. There's actually a little bit of a glitch in the program, in that when it first turns on, it'll show 1 less than the actual cigarettes that are chosen to be loaded in here. So the first, then the next option is the cigarette offset number. Now the offset number is determined by the position of the wheel after it finds 0 position. There's a magnet in the wheel, and right here you can see where there's a little read switch. As that magnet passes the read switch, it sends a signal to the program to say that's 0 position. After that, the stepper switch starts counting to a certain number. Now it's irrelevant what that is, but this is the index offset number. The index offset number is set at the factory and should not have to be changed unless you change the wheel or the program gets changed. Okay, so you leave that the same. The next is the lighter DC. Now that's an arbitrary number that goes from 0 to 60, and that determines the amount of power that goes into the lighter. So that can be changed, like all these things, by going up. You push it up and the number starts going up, and down will be going down. For any operations where you change the program in here, the next thing you have to push is enter. If you don't push enter, then nothing will happen in the program. It'll just continue to go back to the original setting. So you push next. Okay, then the next thing you can go to is the on time. So the on time is can be set for anything from 1 to 999 minutes. The time is set by using the up and down switches. And then the next thing is the off time. If the off time is 0, then this machine will be configured in the manual, so it will never shut off, just keep operating. So if you want to use the on time, you also have to put some number in the off time. For example, if the on time is set to 3 minutes and the off time is set for 2 minutes, the machine will load the cigarettes and light them, puffing only 3 times, then eject all cigarettes. After 2 minutes, the machine will load the cigarettes again and go through 3 puffs before ejecting them. So after the lighter DC, the next option is on time, then off time. Then the pressure in inches per 1 divided by 1,000. This is an option that is not on this machine. So it actually will allow the machine to shut down if there's a pressure input to it. But this is not configured this way, so the main thing is don't put any numbers in this right here. So leave it at 0. Okay, then you push the next, and we recycled around to the number of cigarettes. Now it's showing the actual number of cigarettes that was chosen in the first place, which is 4. Okay, if we want to change that again, we'll go down and say we'll do 3 cigarettes. Okay, now enter to put that in there, and then now you're ready to start the machine, you push escape. So the first thing that happens is the wheel starts loading around, and we'll load the cigarettes into the wheel. So a cigarette will come up, and in the 12 o'clock position there, the cigarette lighter turns on, and the puff pump will take a puff for 2 seconds. This happens according to the FTC method once a minute, so it only puffs in the top position and for 2 seconds. The puff pump is set for a little over 1 liter a minute, which turns out to be 35 cc's for 2 puffs for 2 seconds. That is the FTC method. As the machine starts operating, there's a couple things you can do in the manual operation. You can turn on the lighter manually, and you can also push the puff and make that go manually also. The other 2 operations on here are called soft keys. These the lighter, the puff on. The next one is the abort. You can push that to eject all the cigarettes out when you're finished smoking. When you want to end the smoking, you push the abort just one time. Then at the next operation, the machine will go into the abort phase and eject all the cigarettes out and then stop. Okay, now it's starting to shut down. It says shutting down, ejecting cigarettes. So the cigarettes will be ejected and fall into the water below and extinguished. To start up the machine again, just recycle. So you turn off the machine and then turn on again to start up again. The next one is pause. So if you push pause, everything will stop, and you can take out cigarettes or do anything you want, but mainly everything is just stopped. To start it again, you just push the pause, the reset, and it starts up again. Alright, this is how to remove the hood for replacement of the lighter, cleaning of the wire, cleaning of the wheel, and the washer behind it. So the first thing you need to do is take off the hoses. Take off the main hose here. Take off the hose to the puff pump. And there's 4 screws here that take it off. 2 here and 2 down on the side. So take off the one in the back here, and the other front one, and the last 2 are on the side. When you've taken those off, the magnet can be released and the hood will come straight off. At this point, you can also clean the inside of the hood here. Just clean it with some methanol or other solvent. Alright, this is the lighter wire. The lighter wire comes formed from the fact, I mean, you can order it from me. The main thing is not to change the length of the lighter wire, because this is carefully calibrated for the in order to have enough, in order for the thing to operate correctly. If you shorten it up, there's too much amperage will go through it, and you can actually damage the electronics. At this point, we can also take off the wheel. The wheel is taken off by a little thing here with an Allen screw. You can come off. At this point, you can also see where the magnet is for the 0 stop. This should be taken off weekly and cleaned in the back here with all cleaned the holes. And you'll also notice there's a little floating washer here that this must be able to operate freely so that it keeps pressure on the wheel as it rotates around. This also is taken off, and a little Q-tip with methanol is taken and cleaned, and also in here pushed it through and cleaned the tar out from all of the piping. When the when the wheel is placed back on again, it'd be placed back on, and put it in any position. You push it all the way on and then pull it off, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so, and tighten it up. Don't tighten it too tight so you don't damage the shaft here. And the main thing, you should be able to rotate freely with your hand. Okay, now we can go through the procedure for positioning the lighter wire. So you would go ahead and turn on the machine and allow it to load one cigarette. As soon as it loads one cigarette, I'm going to turn it off so we can turn it around manually and get the position correct for the lighter wire. Okay, let's see. As soon as it loads there and the wheel, the thing retracts, turn it off. Okay, you can move the wheel up then to the 12 o'clock position. A good way to do that is to check with the alignment tool. So when this goes in the hole, then the top is in the 12 o'clock position. So you know now that it's in the proper location for adjusting the lighter wire. This can be moved in and out with these screws here in order to line it up, and also moved around somewhat like this. Also, you can move the lighter wire around some to make sure that it's in the optimal position for lighting. So at this point, you don't want it to be so close that it knocks off the edge, but close enough to where it'll light the wire, and just barely touching the cigarette. In order to change the wire, the two little opposing nuts are loosened here on the top and the bottom part. And these can be, and the lighter wire can be taken off. To put the new lighter wire on, okay. When you get the new lighter wire, it'll be formed, and go ahead and stick it on the top one and the bottom, and then tighten up the opposing nuts again. This is much easier to do with the hood removed, and in fact can be detrimental to this post, which is easy to break if you try to do it with the hood on. So be sure these are nice and tight when you put them back together. Now once you get them back together, you can form this lighter wire up and make sure that it's in the proper position for lighting. Okay, to remove the puff pump for cleaning, detach the hoses, the ones that are taken off here, and this is the in right here. Then the pin is removed. This is a polarized pin. Be careful not to be pretty gentle with this, because it's easy to break the wire here. And then it just comes right out with the holder here and can be removed for cleaning. Prior to starting this operation, you want to put on safety glasses so you don't get any methanol in your eyes. With this supplied power supply here, this can be just plugged into any outlet, and provides 12 volts DC. So you go ahead and plug this in, and the puff pump will start up. Okay. So in order to clean the puff pump, the fastest way to do it is to just this is what you would do every day, where you just want to clean the puff pump out and remove the small amount of tar from the valves. So you go ahead and turn it on here, then cover the exhaust. This is the intake, this is the exhaust, and then squirt a little bit of methanol in. couple times like that will do it. And then go ahead and let it run a little bit, and then until it stops. If you do this in the evening, then and when you're finished, then you can let it dry out overnight. When you're finished, just unplug it. Okay. Okay, for if the machine is still plugged up, or the puff pump, you can you'll have to take off the top. So these 4 screws have to be removed here in order to get to the valves. There's also kits you can buy either from me or from Brailsford that allow you to replace the valves because after a while they get warped and can be replaced. Okay, these are the valves. There's a little a washer, then the valve, and then another O-ring. So on these are the same for both sides. They're just flipped over for the exit and the entrance. So is the entrance. So you take these off, then you go ahead and squirt methanol on these and go ahead and clean them with some little Q-tip to get the tar off. Then you put them back in the same way. These instructions are also in the puff pump and the spare puff pump kits, and also in the manual. Okay, to put these back together, then the O-ring goes first, then the valve, and after the valve, the little washer goes. When you put the top back on, there's a little alignment nod right here, so align those two up so that they're aligned. And then go ahead and screw the screws back in. Be pretty careful about putting the screws in too tight. You can strip these out because it's just plastic. Okay, once you're finished cleaning it, you need to check and see that it's operating correctly. The way to do that is with the flow meter here. This flow is in 0 to 4 liters a minute. It's set up now for vacuum configuration. So this is in. It says in on the pump here. So this is where you put this. Go ahead and put that on there, and then turn on the power. And you should get a reading here. Okay. So this should be around 2, could be a little over 2, and that seems to be, that gives you about 1 liter a minute through the cigarette itself. So make sure it's leading at least 2. So turn it. Can you see that there? Okay, and that's how you check the flow rate. If it's not 2 liters a minute, it's usually the problem is the valves are not cleaned or they're wearing out, but it can be adjusted by adjusting this little piston stroke. So the way you would do that is to put this little pin that's provided, and you go one, you loosen it one way and tighten it the other. So you would tighten that and then go ahead and check the flow rate again. So if we change it a little bit, it should be different. Yeah, see, so that's only 1 liter a minute. That's not enough. So you would go ahead and adjust it some more until you get the proper flow rate by adjusting these pins. All right, there may be a time that you need to remove the electronics drawer for shipment back to me if there's a problem, or to check and make sure that the wires are connected if it becomes a problem. So in order to do that, you take off these 4 screws in the front here, and the drawer then will just come out. As the drawer comes out, you can see the different parts here. So these are the 2 boards. This is the display and the display board, and the main computer right here, and then on the back is the power and lighter circuit board. In order to remove this, the board, this is to the 0 switch. This is to the the motor, and this is the lighter wire. This right here then is the main power switch. So you go ahead and remove that. Then these are to the solenoids. And you do that, you can remove the power, the module. There's instructions for packing that I'll send you if you need to do that. The main thing is just to make sure that it's protected when you ship it. Installation is reverse of the removal. So the main thing when you put these back on there, make sure that the pins are aligned. So it's easy to get this where it's not in the proper location, so be careful of that one. The other ones are pretty much standard. These two, okay, the 0 switch and the lighter wire can be put in the wrong place. If they're done that way, it will be disastrous. So make sure these are on the proper one. The top one goes on the 0 switch, and the bottom one here next to the transistor goes on the bottom. Okay. It's just the main power is this one right here. Part of the smoking machine is the doors. So the whole system is under negative pressure, and if there's a leak anywhere, then you'll start getting erroneous answers if there's a leak somewhere, because you'll get air coming into the chamber, and that'll decrease the concentration in the chamber. So you want to make sure that the doors are tight. There's all these latches can be adjusted. In order to get the proper adjustment, you'll push it in and you'll hear kind of a click. That should be on all these. Alright, the adjustment is done by taking the tension off the screw here, and it can be adjusted in or adjusted back out again. And when you adjustment's done, then this is go ahead and you can actually test it first like this, and then tighten up the screw when you're finished in order to set the adjustment. So then go ahead and check it again. All right, that's good. This is the method for determining the concentration in the chambers. The concentration is measured in milligrams per cubic meter. So in order to get this is a primary method. You would take a filter sample, you weigh the filter first, and then put the filter in the filter holder, collect the sample through the sample port here in the chamber, pull a certain amount of air with this pump for a certain time, and then measure the volume of air that went through the filter. In order to do that, we have the filter holder here. The filter holder can be removed. It unscrews, and then the filter is placed inside the filter holder. So the filter is placed with the rough side up. So this is the rough side, and this is the back side. So it has to be going this way. So it's placed in the filter holder. The filter holder is tightened up, just hand tight, and then when you take a sample, you sample through the sample ports, either with the bottom or the top one. This is the bottom one. Okay, so in order to help get the plug out, sometimes they're pretty hard to get out. This tool is designed to push a ring in the same time you push. These are called push to fit fittings. And when you put it in, you feel a little resistance, and then you push it a little bit further into the system to engage the O-ring. When you do that, there's a little fingers there that hold it in so that you can't pull it out. So this ring has to be depressed then to remove the filter. So at the same time you push it, you have to pull it out. So anyway, this tool helps you a little bit with that. Okay, you go ahead and push this in, same thing, feel a little resistance, then push it the rest of the way. Now you're ready to take a sample. So for a concentration around 100 milligrams per cubic meter, 5 minutes has been found to be a good time to do that. The problem is, as you sample more and more, the filter starts building up. So if you get to the point where the filter is completely clogged, then the chance for error is larger because you have more of a chance for the air to leak past the filter and so give you an erroneous reading. At any rate, so this is set for 5 minutes here, and as the air.
So you can show the timer.
Okay, so this is the timer. The timer can be set different times here. So it's set on minutes. It can be set at different times also. And the switch for it's in the back. Just goes on. When you turn it on, the pump starts. When you turn it off, it stops. Okay. And then it'll stop automatically with the timer. Okay, the air comes in through the back and then comes out through the top. It's a closed diaphragm pump, so whatever comes in and goes out, assuming the pump is tight, will be the volume. The volume is measured with this dry test meter. The dry test meter, or gas meter, measures the volume in cubic meters. This is a European, so there's the comma actually means decimal point. So this reads 0.6262 cubic meters. Okay, and so you would write that number down. Then you get ready to sample. Turn on the pump. And you'll notice that the wheel in the back starts turning here and the valve is turning, so you're sampling for air. If you want to check and see that the system is tight, one of the methods is to actually put your finger, block off the thing, and you should get it to go to 0. If it doesn't go to 0, then there's a leak in the system someplace. So every once in a while you need to check and make sure that the system's good for that. Okay, then you would sample for 5 minutes. Okay, you allow the timer to run out, and as we then the filter can be removed from the filter holder, and it can be weighed. Okay, so this is a filter that's collected some material, so you would weigh this, and the difference in the weight then is the amount of smoke that you collected. This is the alternate type of TSP unit. This has a digital timer on it. To turn the pump on, first the pump is turned on. When you do that, the digits will come up on the timer here. The timer is set. The first digit is H always. Then you set the time on here. This is set for 5 minutes. And M for minutes. In order to turn this unit on, you just push the red switch here and the pump will start operating.